There's the conventional sense of looking at it universally, and then the Rebbe says, if we want to talk about this issue in regard to our own generation, starting from us closest, the Rebbe says, Mem is Moshiach Menachem Shmei, the Yud, he says, is the Frierdiker Rebbe, and the Dalet is the previous Rebbe's father. What did the Rebbe say over here? Who is he talking about? Why do we become humble, and why do we lose ourselves when somebody says to you, did the Rebbe ever say it? Yes, he did. The trouble is that we are very much afraid of ourselves. You know, there was a famous story. A Rav in an Orthodox shul was people of the shul who ate treif kept on telling him as a chazal is not so bad. Tastes pretty good. About Vesachnish, he doesn't know what to tell him. He does not dispel this whole thought. He made a decision that in his next vacation, he's going to go to some far-fetched island where nobody knows him. And so he'll know what to answer. So this next vacation, he traveled away to some far-fetched place, hoped for sure that nobody would see him, and he walked into a treif restaurant, and he orders a chazal. As he was waiting for his order, his president pops in on him, and he sees his rabbi sitting in a treif restaurant. He starts telling him, Rabbi, I mean, you're an Orthodox Jew. And he starts giving him tirutzim like dreidlach ahera. He's not here to eat. He just came to take whatever, all the tirutzim that he gave. And as they were discussing this, the chazal, the order was being brought out. I know none of you are familiar with the customs, but for those who know, when you bring out a chazal like this, they bring out the whole head of the chazal with an apple in his mouth. So they come with the whole tray and they bring them the chazal off the tish. And the Rav thought real fast and he says to his president, give a cook. I came in and I'd ordered an apple and look what they brought me. The trouble with us is that we always try to verdrehen sich allein because we schämt sich, was wir können trachten and what we können sagen. So right away we're ordering an apple. Don't forget that when you veer away from what the Rebbe says, you're eating a chazal, not an apple. We live in a time that we can't run away from anything. The Rebbe told us things that it's mamish lo yumen ki yisufer. If somebody wants to go back in the sichas of the Rebbe's earliest Chofshi Chavov, Chavzayin, you look in the sichas of the Rebbe of the time, you see yourself that the Rebbe talks about preparation for Mashiach then. And the Rebbe talks about technology that nobody dreamt then about it. If you look into the Sichas of Chavzayin, the Rebbe talks about telephones, the Rebbe talks about the radio, and the Rebbe talks about all these things. In there, look carefully in that Sicha, the Rebbe is alluding to cell phones. Cell phones! Who thought about it then? Why is this so? Because the Rebbe and the Rebbe are good audio-visual teachers. A good teacher, when you want your students to understand something, you put audio-visual on the blackboard and you show your student black and white was confirmed. We're living in a time that Rebbe is upfront that the whole world is looking for Mashiach. The world is ready for Mashiach. The Kodesh Welt is ready for Mashiach. I'm not going to go into the details, but you can take a look in the 10 Mamish Nishkol there and I always gave from the Kalim of all the things that we see today in science that literally prepare us for it. But the latest thing is an interesting one. The latest thing that science is looking for is the echad in the Havaya. The oneness, the unity of existence. The guy understands it. The guy sees it. And Bahun Zidoshailus and Srekis. Whether or not it's so, did the Rebbe say, did the Rebbe not say, was it this way or was it otherwise? We have to remember, Kleres Chassidim, as Talmidim of the Rebbe, as the Rebbe himself said in regard to a case that took place years ago, B'Negeya the Chofetz Chaim. And the Rebbe was sitting at the Fabringen and was screaming, Vu, Zayin, the Talmidim for Chofetz Chaim. Where are the disciples of the Chofetz Chaim who are not taking on for his covenant? We must understand that the best defense is an offense. If we would be doing what we had to be doing, those people wouldn't be doing what they are doing. They wouldn't have had the breaker, they wouldn't have had the hoser, they wouldn't have even raised their head. For 50 years the world looked at us for light. We were the light towers unto the nations of the world, and I mean even the Jews. When it comes to Inyan and Mashiach Geula, believe me, I travel around. The world still wants to hear what we have to say about it. If we would walk out close, what the Rebbe said in regard to Inyan and Mashiach Geula, in regard to himself, in regard to his galus, in regard to the time that we live in, there is not a doubt in the world where the whole world would have been standing today in this issue. People out there are saying that if you people don't know, you people are arguing among yourselves, you people have doubts, what do you want from us? And therefore, we have to know clear. And we have to go out in the street based on the sichas of the Rebbe. Nicht durch Sprachmedien Meisela. Not come up with eigene Voice. But all that we have to do is repeat the sichas of the Rebbe. The Rebbe makes it clear, Binyamin in the Rambam of Hilchos, as the Rebbe said, Mashiach. When the Rambam speaks clearly, what are the simonim of Mashiach? What are the simonim that one should look, the criteria whom we have to look for? And the truth is that even the Cheskas Mashiach that the Rambam says, we all know what means Cheskas Mashiach. Chazokah, the concept of Chazokah, as opposed to questionable. After all of the Rambam ends and he says, Hareze Mashiach Vadai, then he should have said Hareze Sofik Mashiach. Why does he use the term Chazokah? I'm not going to go into it now. We all know that this is an extremely powerful term, which in essence really means that it's a fact. It's mechus l'maaseh. The Rebbe himself said, why is the UN in New York? The UN should have been in some neutral country. And the Rebbe, one of the things that he said was the reason for the UN to be in New York is because the Nossi Hadeh, who are Moshiach Shebedeh, should be able to lead and work and do all the activities in regard to the entire world through this body. To whom is the Rebbe talking? We're not hearing this? Are we missing something? If Hey Tevet is the personal Didon Nosach of the Nossi Hadeh of our Mashiach Shebedeh, this is a night to us that's perhaps more important than Yutas Kislev and than other young and Tovim, although we know that Yutas Kislev is labeled as Chag HaChagim. But to us, to our generation, Hey Tevet is in a sense, if we could say, our Rosh Hashanah. We're just coming from Hanukkah, and we see that Hanukkah is different than any other Yom Tov. All the Yom Tovim seem to be marking the past. Pesach, Zeichel Etzias Mitzrayim, Parei, Purim, Haman. We're talking about the past. But when you look at Hanukkah, for some reason, all the things that happen on Hanukkah and the way we manifest it doesn't seem to be exactly marking what took place in the past. If we're lighting the Neides Hanukkah because of the Neides Beis HaMikdash, which we are, one should have lit those Neides in the afternoon, not in the evening. Why is it 8, not 7? And there are many things that if you think back for a minute, why is it so? And why are we mahadadatya with oil as opposed to a candle? And even the minhagim that came around the dreidel,